Hey guys, it's your boy M.K.S. Finally back here with part 3 of my my list for Black History and Empowerment Month, as I call it. It's a very windy day here in the UK. Yesterday we actually had 2 power cuts at night time, so I'm hoping we don't go through that again. But they only lasted for a few seconds, to be fair. But I'm a bit of a chicken, I'm afraid of the dark. So, when they had 2 power cuts, it was a bit terrifying. Anyway, I'm going quick. So, but anyway, hope you're well wherever you are, and yeah, hoping to continue, as I say, finally with part 3 of my list. And here we go again. Hopefully we don't have any power cuts here, because as I say, last night we had around about midnight it was, or something like that. And yeah, so anyway, so I'm going to crack on with my thoughts about Black History Month and Empowerment Month, and some ideas which I hope will benefit the worldwide or global Black diaspora. And again, hopefully the weather will be better as well tomorrow. Anyway, so here goes. So number 21, I love to look at historical things that have happened to African Americans or Black people around the world, like historical things they went through, like in Black Wall Street, where the story, I think, is that they had loads of great things going for them, and possibly due to jealousy, there was an accusation held against an African American, and then the massive riot which destroyed Black Wall Street and things like that. So I'd love to go back to looking at events that have happened in history against Black people, and look at ways to reparate them for those events. Here in the UK, for instance, there were, when slavery ended, there was money given to the former slave owners, but there wasn't any compensation. I know I mentioned this before, so please forgive me, but just to recap some of those ideas, there was money given to the former slave owners, but there wasn't money given to the victims or the families of slavery who went through such things, like pretty much unpaid labor, just enough to keep them alive. So I think it'd be great to see funding given to Black diaspora around the world to make up for that. So like helping them in business and tech and areas where Black people have been underrepresented throughout history. So as ever, I'd love to hear what you think. I've got to say that in the intro when I was laughing away. I'd love to hear what you think about what should be, what compensation, or what, if any, I know people might disagree on that. I hope they'll keep the comments polite, but obviously it's freedom of speech, so I never delete any comments. If YouTube does, then that's up to them, or if other people do, but I never delete comments. I just let them run. Obviously, if they were threatening comments, I'd probably report them, but other than that, I believe in free speech, so feel free to hate if you must. But yeah, so I'd love to hear what people think about these historical events, or any events they know what have happened to people, and what sort of reparations or compensation or whatever people think they should have. But I think here in the UK, for instance, although it's Black History Month in the US, I think that, and in some other countries as well, I think that, and maybe I'll discuss that, hopefully I'll discuss that in October if I remember it, and I'm sure we'll get around to it in October, all being well. But I think there should be like £1 billion given, as it was given to former slave owners. I think it should be given to the Black community in the UK, so they can set up their own businesses and get financial assistance in that way. Maybe even pay for like scholarships to go to college or uni, or but also like mainly set up businesses and to get more Black people in tech and things like that, to make up for those historical events. Another thing I nearly forgot to say, but I would love to see, love to remember my chain of thought as well, but yeah, the historical contributions to Black people around the world in things like science, tech, engineering, business, STEM, and other such areas, what they've accomplished and how those accomplishments have been suppressed, or knowledge of such has been suppressed. I think if people from the Black diaspora community found out about those historical successes and achievements and things like that, they might be more positive, and the rest of the world might have their perceptions changed about the Black diaspora. I'm not sure if it would be that effective, but maybe it could help at least a few people, and that would be, I think, worth it. Number 20, hopefully in the future things will improve for the Black diaspora, how you pronounce it, around the world, and we'll learn history about how to help more Black people into politics, tech, business, tech, and stuff like that, especially Black women. and young people as well, in Africa and around the world, including African Americans, to look at how to what ideas work to. I know I talked about tax losses for investing in black-owned businesses and tech and things like that. So yeah, big companies like Microsoft or IBM or even Facebook or YouTube itself and companies like Google could be given tax exemptions for employing X amount of black people. Number 23, I think it'd be great to see things like Shark Tank or the Dragon's Den, especially for black people, and again the successes of black people around the world and in business and other areas, and how to invest in black-owned business and how black-owned businesses that have done well can mentor other people to change. Like even, let's say some of those businesses might say they don't want to, I suppose some people say like people who have done well want to disassociate with other people who they think, other members of their own community who they don't feel have are more like business-like, but maybe they can encourage more people to become business-like. So black youth who are involved in things like crime or going down the wrong path could be encouraged to do better through black people who have done well in business, like Damon, John, and people like that. I can't think of too many off the top of my head, but even people like Michael Jordan, who went from being a basketball player to baseball, and then also an entrepreneur, so he became a billionaire through entrepreneurship. And so I'm sure there are many stories I can't think of the top of my head, but or names I can't remember, but they could, even people like Will Smith or people like that, could perhaps use the money he's made from acting to invest in black-owned businesses. And people like Tyler Perry and people like that, even Michael Jordan and people like that, can mentor people and also look at using their money to invest in black-owned businesses and buying black and banking black. And I love to encourage people to buy black, bank black, and things like that, especially other minorities and things like that. Number 24, I'd love to bring the global black diaspora around the world together so they can like learn from each other and encourage each other as much as possible, and their supporters can help them as much as possible to be encouraged to reach their full potential. I know I mentioned in part 2, I think it was, about in my second part video of this, obviously, about Evan Carmichael's channel, which I think is really good. I can't remember if that was in part 1 or part 2. I think it was part 2, but I think there are also many great channels like Success Secrets TV, which I think is from Africa itself. I think the guy's Nigerian who made that channel. Success Story NG, which is a Nigerian channel, and Black Exilist I may have mentioned before, but that's a really good channel, I think, and there are a few others. So I think Evan Carmichael's is not the only motivational channel, but I think there are quite a few which hopefully more people from the black diaspora will find out and like share with each other and support each other's YouTube channels and things like that, as well as like tourism in the future, maybe when it's safe to travel and things like that. Number 25, I'd love to support things like Tech Republic Africa, and again get more people from the black diaspora around the world into tech, especially from Africa and Australasia, and which I hope to come to in more detail in March. And also, yeah, like say, make the one-stop place for African tech or things like that, or black people in tech working together, mentoring each other, and coming together, working together as one, kind of to encourage each other. I'm a great believer that we're stronger together when we work together. And I think the black community would be as well as like people of color, like the Asian community, like improving relations by the Asians who have done well in tech, maybe training black and Hispanic and Latino people, and vice versa, like supporting each other as much as possible as people of color in areas like tech and things like that, which is a key area for the future, and maybe STEM generally. 26, again, I'd love to look at the case for reparations and what sort of things have happened in history which could be reparated. Number 27, as I often mention, I'd love to have like a list of the top sponsors or supporters of the black diaspora. Number 28, I know this video is going a bit long, so please forgive me if I'm rushing or speaking quite fast. Again, I'd love to see how negative situations can be turned into positive, so turning negatives into positives. Number 29, again, I'd love to encourage people of color and other minorities, especially mixed race people, to support projects like supporting people in South Africa, which had apartheid, which I think countries like South Africa or Australia, which had like things like apartheid or white supremacist policies, if you like. Even Australia had, I can't remember what it was called, but they had many policies like that. So I think people of colour should come together to support each other, including people of colour in South Africa and Australasia especially. And number 30, again, hope to make more videos like this, and hopefully if they make any money in the future, I will donate that money to charity. So thanks for watching if you made it this far, and sorry if I waffled or repeat too many points, but as ever, I'd love to hear what you think, and I think that covers everything, and I'm out. Peace and love.